All right, hockey is back after a holiday break earlier this week. So the Rangers, they're going to be back on the ice on Saturday as they battle the Lightning in Tampa. And joining me to preview this Eastern Conference showdown is a writer for the Hockey News covering the Tampa Bay Lightning and also the Tampa Bay Lightning team contributor for the NHL Network. Correspondent there is Diandra Loux. Diandra, how you doing?
Hey, Dex, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Been enjoying my holiday season. I hope you have as well. Hope you had a good Christmas holiday. And Deandra, I'm going to start off by talking to you about the Rangers because they've been facing some serious challenges this season, particularly as of late, losing 13 of their last 17 games. So from your perspective, I know you watched the whole league. What are the key factors that you are seeing that are contributing to the Rangers' struggles?
Yeah, well, unfortunately, it's been a really tough season for the Rangers. And, especially coming after a really big season that they had last year. It's unfortunate to see. I think one thing that has really stood out to me, and this is kind of from the outside looking in, right? Because I cover the Lightning, but like you said, I'm paying attention to the whole league. Something that's really stood out to me is that there are two components here. It seems like the players are really struggling to buy in. And I think culture plays a huge part in that. When that memo, that league-wide memo went out saying, that they were okay with trading two big pieces on their team, and whether that's performance based or not, sending that out publicly, ever since then it seems like the players have just kind of somewhat checked out. And there's two big pieces, right? It's the production that you have on the ice, and then there's also the mental component to winning. And whether we like to accept it or not, emotions are a part of sports, and that's what makes sports so great. And right now it seems to me like there's a really toxic culture in New York, and it's unfortunate, and it's kind of a gradual process. It's not like a switch that can just be flipped. And I think, just what came out this summer of wanting to trade your captain and things like that doesn't help. Instead of taking the winning season that they had last year and saying, all right, we're all bought in. We're going to do everything we can. We want to win a cup. It's been a long time, and we're going to do everything we can to do it. It was kind of like the opposite, right? And sending out that memo, I think, did the opposite effect of what they intended to do for the Rangers.
Yeah, and I think that was a question for me. I wondered, once we talked about the trade of Jacob Trouba, and we wondered, okay, how is this going to affect the team? How does this affect the locker room? And we seems like we're seeing some of the effects of that. Now, there's larger questions. Can they turn it around? We will see. But as of late, it hasn't been good. 13 losses, last 17 games, hasn't been good for the Rangers. Now, let's talk about the Lightning, team that you cover. They are on a solid run. They're the opposite. They've won 7 of their last 10 games. What do you think has been the main driver behind their recent success, and what are you liking about their form right now?
Yeah, well, I think Rangers fans are going to get mad at me for saying this, but I think that the key difference right now between the Rangers and the Lightning, I mean, there's a few differences, but a big piece of it is it's the opposite type of culture, right, with the Lightning. So I think I was on here, in the summertime, the end of the summer, and there were more questions than answers. There were a lot of drastic moves made by the Lightning GM, Julian Breesbaugh. And, we were trying to figure out, what is the vision? What are they going for here? And now you can kind of see everything laid out. They've had a really good season, and they just have been progressively building as the season has gone on. But also, John Cooper has built a culture in this organization where the guys are happy to come to the rink every single day. They're building camaraderie. And I think the biggest thing, especially with this last win right before the holiday break against the Florida Panthers, the guys were talking about how statement wins like that, especially a rivalry game, really builds the relationship with the players on and off the ice. And ultimately, like we were talking about, that's what you need, because as the season goes on, especially going into the playoffs when things get really tough and there's injuries and things like that, you really want to build a strong culture that's going to help you push through all the way to the end.
Yeah, culture matters. The players on the team buying in, all that stuff matters. And you mentioned this right there. There were a lot of questions with the Lightning and some of the changes they made to their roster coming into this season. But Brandon Hegel, he's been leaning into a leadership role with the team this season. How has his leadership impacted the team, especially during this current winning stretch where I just talked about 7 wins in the last 10 games?
Yeah, I mean, Brandon Hegel is having his best season so far. And, the Lightning saw that when he came over from Chicago. But I think I've just kind of watched him from afar. And every season he's kind of built on his leadership and how vocal he is. And I actually just got to talk to him. I did a piece on this. But, when you lose your captain of about a decade, Steven Stamkos, when you lose a voice like that in the locker room and you kind of just rip the rug out from underneath the players, different guys have to step up, right? You have to fill that void somehow. And it's kind of a natural progression for Brandon Hagel. So, I mean, he likes to show his leadership on the ice, right? And we've seen his numbers. He and Anthony Cirelli are just having a historically good season, but also he's become more vocal. And I think one of the really good things about the Lightning is, that locker room, everybody has a voice, everybody can talk, everybody can lead. And I think just, when Steven Stamkos signed with Nashville, it opened up the door for guys like Hagel who are right there, just kind of waiting for that spot to open up. And, he's just been a key component to their success throughout the season.
Yeah, needed the leadership with Stamkos exiting, and he has stepped up for sure. Now, Diandra, this breaks can be interesting for teams, right? Needing to either rest or reset. So the timing of this holiday break, it could be good for the Rangers, going back to them, right, to tweak some things. And I think one would think that Peter Laviolette and the Blue Shirts are going to try to make some tactical adjustments in their first game since the holiday break. So in your eyes, what are the key things that fans should be watching for in this Rangers versus Lightning matchup that we'll see on Saturday?
Yeah, it's funny that you say that because historically with the Lightning breaks have not been good. This is the first season where, they'll have a little break, maybe 3 or 4 days off and come back and play really well. So for the Lightning, I mean, they're coming off a big win. I think that their, momentum does a lot for a hockey team, right? It's a very long season. So on the Lightning side, I think they just have to continue doing what they're doing, playing well defensively, being responsible with the puck, things like that. They have a team that's built to win. As far as the Rangers go, I was you watch the Predators, right? Because I think the Rangers and the Predators are the two teams that everyone's watching that have struggled this season. And it seems like the Predators are really starting to kind of turn things around, right? So whatever it was, whatever team meeting they had, or whatever the time that they took to kind of figure things out and make it click, you hope that the Rangers can use this break to kind of do something similar, right? You have a few days off. What is it? Is it fixable? We know that the Rangers are more than open to trading some pieces and making the moves that they need to make. But that mental component, right? How do you get your guys to buy in? How do we get everyone back on track? And I think for the Lightning, regardless of the season that the Rangers are having, they also beat the Dallas Stars. This is not a team that you just want to sit back and just let them do their thing. And so, for the Rangers, this is a really good opportunity for their head coach to sit down with them and be like, we got to do this. We have to pull it together. We're in this season, regardless of how it goes. Like, we got to finish playing this season. Let's figure it out. So like you said, breaks can be interesting. They can either be really good or really bad. But hopefully the Rangers, for their sake, they can take this time to kind of put things together.
Yeah, for their sake, they'd like to get a win. Tampa Bay team you covered. They don't want to sleep on the Rangers, like you said. They do not want to take their opponent lightly here on Saturday. That is Diandra Loux. Check out her work with the Hockey News covering the Tampa Bay Lightning, and also a correspondent for the Lightning with the NHL Network. Diandra, we appreciate the preview, the breakdown. I don't think you made Ranger fans too angry with what you had to say in your great analysis here, but thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Dex.